Welcome to a mindful bird sit with Bird Mentor. Today we're going to engage in a deep practice to connect us with the birds of our backyard by putting ourselves in the experience of someone that they spend much of their life in relationship with. By doing this, we'll get to know the birds in a new way and from a completely different vantage point. All right, let's get started. So to begin, I want you to look for a tree on your landscape that you're curious about. Ideally, it's an old tree or a big tree, but if you have to go very far to find that, that's okay. Just choose any tree in your yard, one that you're just curious about today. Now let's settle in. Take a nice deep breath in and let it go. Go ahead and feel your butt on the chair or on the ground that you're sitting on. Good, and we're just going to tap into our experience in the moment here. Because some of you, you might have had to hustle to get here. Others of you, maybe you're already relaxed and calm. But right now, we're just going to become present to our environment. So, on your next inhale in, take a nice deep breath. And I want you to travel with that breath throughout your body. Notice where that breath is touching. So, this air that was just outside of your body, dancing around in the world, has now entered your body. And where is it exploring? Just notice what parts of your inner body the air is touching. Great. Go ahead, take another deep breath in. And this time, see if there's anything new, anywhere new that your breath is going to. Is it going deeper, more expansive? Maybe it's still kind of shallow. Just notice where it's going. And go ahead and take another couple breaths on your own rhythm. Okay, and now you can begin by closing your eyes. So we're going to start by listening for the quietest sound on the landscape. And some of you may have to kind of filter through some of the louder sounds to find that quieter sound. Go ahead and do that now. Do your best to try to sort of swim through those sounds that are loud, listening and looking for that quiet, softer sound that's around you right now. Great, good work. And now go ahead and send your awareness out further onto the landscape because you probably have some loud sounds that are out there right now, or at least easily perceived by your ears. And so, what I want you to do is stretch your ears as far as you can possibly hear, listening for any sound that you can pick up that's quite a distance away. How far can you stretch your ears right now? Listening for what the story is all around you. So remembering to listen behind you and on all sides of you. And we're just exploring the landscape with our ears right now. So don't get stuck on any one sound. Just acknowledge the sounds you're hearing and keep stretching and keep listening for that story that's a bit further away from your home territory right there. Good work, everybody. So remember now, with our eyes still closed, you can notice what your heart is doing right now. So we tapped into our breath, connecting to our breath before. Now I just want you to notice your heart. What's the rhythm of your heartbeat right now? And as you're exploring that part of your body, you can also tap into, we're going to stretch our sensations right now. So notice if there's any sort of feeling and sensation on your skin. Can you feel the wind brushing across your skin? Maybe the sun kissing your nose. maybe an insect landing on your skin, whatever it might be. While you're tapping into your heartbeat, also feel the sensations on your skin. What is that sense telling you about the world around you? Is it communicating something to you right now? Good work. And so when you're ready, you can go ahead and gently open your eyes and find that tree that you want to focus on today, that you want to spend some time with. So allow your gaze to fall on that tree and pick one point as your focal point right now. And we'll use that as our beginning owl eyes practice. So you're going to focus on that one point on the tree and then just allow the rest of your vision to go really soft and stretch. So you're going to be stretching your vision in all directions as far as you can see, almost as if you want to look behind you and above and below. Noticing what you're perceiving now. So even though you're looking forward at that tree, is there anything else that you're noticing with your vision in this softened gaze right now? Okay, good work. So you don't know what we're about to do, but I'm going to ask you to make a choice. And remember, we're just playing here. This is just for fun. So some of you are going to choose to go forward in time, and others are going to choose to go back in time. And just check in with your instincts right now. Which direction do you want to go? Do you want to explore the past, or do you want to explore the future? Great, just trust yourself. Again, you're just playing, like we're just kids playing a game right now. And so whichever direction you chose, when I give you instruction throughout this, just remember that that's the direction that you're moving through time. So we're going to begin right now by looking at our friend tree, our tree friend, and just noticing what its life is like in this season of summer right now. So just explore that tree in all ways that you can with your eyes, your ears, your felt sense. Like, who gets to hang out on that tree? Who goes to visit it? What does that tree smell? What does it see throughout the day? What does it experience at night? You can also tap into the felt sense. What does it feel on its bark? Maybe when a particular bird lands on it. So right now in summertime, what birds might be landing on that tree? Who might visit it? So I'll let you just stay with that exploration for the next couple of minutes. And let yourself just go deeper and deeper into this season with this tree. You can notice, are there any sort of mammals that crawl up your bark? Do the squirrels run up and down you? Or this one over there? Is it a place for a raccoon to take a rest? Maybe there's a bunch of cicadas vibrating on its leaves. You can also ask, who are your favorite neighbors? Who do you enjoy having around you? Especially in this season right now. Okay, great. So now, depending on which direction you chose to move through time, you're either going to journey with this tree into the next season. So for some of you, you'll be heading into fall, and others will be going backwards into spring. So I want you to just imagine, this is where we get to play. So just imagine, what will it be like for this tree in the fall? Who is going to visit it? Or what was it like for this tree in the springtime? And all those same questions. Who gets to visit it? What does it smell? What is it seeing during this particular season, in the daytime, at nighttime? And just let yourself play with that. Imagine the sap moving through your, I think it's the cambium layer. So imagine the sap moving through the cambium of your bark. Depending on the season, it might feel differently. Okay, good work. So now, regardless of which direction you chose to travel through time, we're all going to be in winter. Though some of us are going to be at the previous winter and others will be in the forthcoming winter. So, what is it like to be your tree in the wintertime? And as you're exploring the tree's experience and what it gets to see and smell and taste and touch, don't forget about the fact that there are people moving about this tree. And what is that tree's experience of those people as they move about? Okay, good work. And so now we're going to move on to the next season. So some of you will be in spring and some of you will be in fall, again, depending on which direction you chose to travel. So this time, just notice what it feels like to transition into that season, whether it's the past season or a future season. Is it drastically different from the winter? Are you looking forward to anything? You can notice if you happen to have any fruit on your tree or flowers. Maybe there's some seeds. Also checking in with your roots. And is it easier in this season to gather nutrients, or maybe not quite as easy in this season? Okay, great. And so now we're all going to transition to summer. So whether you're going backwards or forwards, you're going to be in summertime again. So you're either going to be 1 year in the future or 1 year in the past in the summer. So what is it like a year ahead or a year behind? What was it like, or what is it going to be like? The same season that we're in right now. Is there anything new about you as this tree? Any new visitors this time? New friends? Or are they same visitors? The same ones you got to know? Okay, and now we're going to take a big leap. So we're going to go 10 years into the future or 10 years into the past, depending on which direction you are moving. And just notice, what was it like to be this tree 10 years ago? Or what will it be like to be this tree 10 years in the future? What will you see? What will you smell? What sensations will you have? Who will come and visit you? Okay, good work. And so we'll have just a couple more explorations. So now we're going to take a giant leap. And we're either going to go 100 years into the future or 100 years into the past. And just notice, some of you might have been very tiny if you went to the past, and some of you might be quite big. So what is it like for you 100 years before or 100 years in the future? If you're having a hard time visualizing that either way, just ask the tree. Just put that question out there to the tree and say, what will it be like for you? What was it like for you? And just see if anything comes. Okay, and our final one, I want you to imagine that you are at the very end of this tree's life or at the very beginning of its life. You're just that little sprout coming out of an acorn or whatever seed that tree had, or maybe you have your last leaf or your last needle still hanging on. So what's it like? What are you experiencing? Who is visiting you now? What's different about how the world around you is relating to you? Okay, so take the next couple of moments and we'll bring this practice to a close by offering gratitude and a blessing to that tree that you interacted with today. All right, everybody. Good work. So, if folks need to go, thank you so much for coming and may you have a beautiful week. And for those of you who want to stay for our chat, you're welcome to do so. And I'll just put the questions out there to you all. So, I'd love to hear what that experience was like for you. What what phase was most impactful for you? And let us know which direction you chose to travel in time. You can just go ahead and put your hand up if you want to share. Yeah, Jacinth, go for it, please.
Hello. I chose to go forward in time, and I was looking at this big tree, and I'm in my yard, and this tree is like further out in somebody else's yard. And I was thinking that, well, certainly well, probably in 100 years, it'll be gone just because it's in the electrical wires. So it's already too big, and they've already cut some part of it. And I was just wondering, like, how is that for the tree that cannot really grow because it's gonna get cut and yeah, it's gonna be too big at some point. It's like very small yards. So I was just thinking about how like, oh, it's just gonna be gone.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. It's going to be interesting just to hear everybody's, stories of where their trees are because so much will depend on what's around them, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Jacinth, for that. I appreciate that. Mhm. Who else would like to share? Well, yeah, Della, go ahead.
There we go. Um, well, I chose to look at the liquid amber tree in my back, just off my back patio. And one of the things I love, there are two of these trees, is that when there's heavy fog, which is frequent here in Pebble Beach, as you can see in, in the sky here, but when there's heavy fog and it's low, the fog condenses on the leaves of the trees and it rains in that area of the garden. And it's like a little rainforest back there. And I have hydrangeas and hostas and other kind of geraniums, and they just love it. And so I was thinking about that. And of course, all the birds that visit the tree, the nuthatches that hide seeds in the bark, the sapsuckers that long ago made those holes uh, uh, in the bark. And anyway, they're just lovely trees. They're my friends.
Thanks for that, Della. That's really sweet to have that. I just hear your connection with the tree and all the different ways that it sounds like it showers many blessings on you and the birds there and other ones too. Yeah. Um, I know for me, I'm looking at a pine tree across the way. I think it's a longleaf pine. They also have loblolly pine around here, but I'm not too sure which one it is. It's across this lake, and when I traveled 100 years, I was going in the future as well. And so when I traveled in the future, 100 years, it was really kind of, or no, I think it was the end of its life. That's what, when I went to the end of its life, I realized that like actually there might even be more birds that come to visit it. Like that it has the potential to be this like eagle roost or an osprey roost and like there's lots of, egrets and herons and ibis and whatnot that are around here. And I would imagine that they would love to sit on sort of like a naked, giant old pine tree. And who else would be like drilling in its bark or in to get into the like making cavities. And I was like, wow, it was almost like looking forward, like how grand it's gonna be, and like how amazing, like that this one will has the potential to become this giant beautiful old snag, that's like such a blessing to this land and like appreciated by so many critters, so it was sort of fun. I didn't know where that was going to take me, like the end of its life, and it actually was kind of interesting. Yeah. Who else wants to share their experience? Y'all good? Yeah, Linda, go for it, please.
Okay. Okay, I chose an aspen tree um just in front of me, and I chose to go backwards, and um this tree I I planted this tree. So there's a little bit of a different story here, you know. But I planted this tree with my husband 20 years ago, and there's a couple of them. And then just objectively, just a little background, they've aspen trees sucker other trees, and they've planted so many other trees in my yard. I mean, our whole yard could be full of aspen if we had let them all grow. But anyway, so it's just been this wonderful tree. And so trying to feel how it felt, I just felt like it was so full of stories each season. um it it, it played a part in things because its position, well, it felt a lot of birds. I could feel all the birds, the little birds, the big birds, the little pygmy owl that I had around this past winter was in there. um and the cedar waxwings and the evening grosbeaks and the goldfinches love these aspens. They just really congregate in the aspens. um, so each season, it had something. And then in the wintertime, um, I felt like it had all these insects that took up residence on its bark, you know, and those were the ones that um, the nuthatches were eating. And I had a western wood pewee that even showed up in the winter this year, which really surprised me. That's the first time I've seen the western wood pewee in the winter. And it was during a warm spell. So I don't know where he'd been, but he was out collecting frozen insects for a while. So anyway, it just had so many stories. And then I noticed that wherever there's a branch, this objectively again, wherever there was a branch, um, there's like these little ripples around it. and I just had to laugh because the tree is considered old, pretty old, not real old for an aspen, more middle aged. But I thought, oh, and I felt like, well, just like people, you know, you start to get these wrinkles under your eyes or lines under your eyes from a life, you know, fully lived. So anyway, it was really fun. It was, and then I traced it back to the beginning, and it didn't start as a sucker. Um, it started because some of the aspens do get catkins, and they do have some seeds, and that's not their they're not their main way of propagating, but they do have little seeds from what I understand. So it started as a seed. um anyway, and that was really interesting, really fun. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, I have such like a soft spot for aspen, just because they're a tree that aren't out east and where I grew up. And so when I went out west, it just felt like meeting this whole other personality, you know, because they really are. They're just this whole other entity, and they hold so much for so many people, I think, and they bring so much beauty in so many ways. And um, yeah, what an awesome thing to have that storyline, you know, in your yard there. And it was awesome to hear all the different birds that visited these, and I'm sure there's more too, but just to know that like the pygmy owl was there in the wintertime, and that you really have been tracking the birds in your backyard, and what a powerful thing it is to, you know, to sit and observe one's place over time and really start to build like a deep relationship with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well
lucky.
done. Yeah, that's awesome, Linda. Thank you.
You bet.
That's cool. So she went back in time because I know it seems like did anyone else go back in time? Della did. Okay, great. So yeah, I went forward, so other people went back in time. Um, that's awesome. Well, thanks everybody for just journeying with me on this tree. I went for a run this morning, and I passed this beautiful young magnolia tree. It was like I don't know. So they can get to be pretty big around here, but they have these beautiful big magnolia flowers and they're just gorgeous trees. But this one I could tell was young and it was leaning. And when I was asking for like what I was going to do today, it was just like a leaning tree. And I'm like, about a leaning tree. And I just started like asking that question of just like, oh, I wonder why it started leaning. And there's sometimes you can track that through time if you go back in time, where you see like a tree that has a funky branch that moves in a certain way. And it's like, if you were on your land long enough, you might have known that, oh, there used to be a bigger tree under there that kind of did this thing and they had this relationship and they always rubbed up against each other. And then this tree died and moved away. And now this one has this funky, like, you know, and, but you wouldn't have known that maybe if you hadn't lived there or experienced that tree for, its whole life. And anyway, so I felt like I even gathered a lot just from this young leaning magnolia tree today, and thought it would be interesting to just explore it, like and journey with a tree, and how many different birds, yeah, get to interact with them and the nests. That was the other thing when I was doing my session. I think it was going into the fall. I noticed I was like, oh, I've got all these like old, nests in me right now. Like they're everyone's already done their breeding, they've already had their babies, but like their nests are still standing there. Like it hasn't been maybe, yeah, we haven't lost them to like the winter yet, but they're still kind of hanging in there in the tree. And that was just kind of fun to like track the bird nests and the bird song too. I remember when I went to springtime that I was like so excited for this song to come back to me, to be like all around me, all the bird song. Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. I don't know if you saw the message. Some of you I know who come to the sessions, maybe you don't check the email when I send the video recording because you don't need it because you were here. But I know some of you have been asking about the contributions, like being able to make a contribution to the bird sit. And I just got that page up and working again. So you are now able to make a donation or contribution to the bird sit if you want to. These are always free, so there's never any pressure or need to contribute. But if you want to do that, then you're able to do that now. And that likely, I don't remember if I sent a link in the reminder email, but I will send it out again, in the video recording email. So if you want to do that, just look for that email and you can click the link and fingers crossed it works. But I did test it, so it should be all good now. Um, but yeah, thanks for coming today, and yeah, just explore that again. Like you can do it with a shrub or a plant, and oh, the cicadas are so loud right now, and the grasshoppers. There's these like this is even a small one, but there are these giant grasshoppers here. Like I'm a bit further north and west than I have been in a little while, and there's really big. And there was like this giant dragonfly I saw yesterday that was like, I just never seen a dragonfly so big. And then like I said, these grasshoppers are crickets. I don't know which one it is. Grasshopper. This is dead, obviously. But they are even bigger than this, so it's amazing. It's such an amazing time of year. All right, everybody, have a really beautiful week, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us,
Bye.
Sally. Yeah, see you.